Good morning students. Today we will discuss about important topic of how do organisms reproduce, and this topic is related to reproductive health. First of all, we will discuss about the concept of reproductive health. So reproductive health can be defined by good working and physical condition of reproductive organs, means whether our reproductive organs are healthy or they are not healthy. That is to say, whether their physical condition is good, whether they can work, whether they are physically fit, they are physiologically fit or not. That is called as reproductive health. Second thing that we have to discuss is about the maturity. In fact, we all know that since the birth, general body of the child starts growing. So first of all, it is the general body growth which occurs. It keeps on taking place up to 18 years, but after 10 to 12 years, the speed of general body growth starts declining. It means in the beginning, what happens? General body growth increases and then it starts moving in this pattern, right? While reproductive organs, maturity of reproductive organs, that is growth of reproductive organs, starts from in this period. Reproductive organs start growing from this particular period after the general body growth has started declining. It means from this particular stage, reproductive growth organs of growth of reproductive organ will start maturing, right? So there is a difference. It means reproductive organs, our general body has become mature, but it is not necessary that our reproductive organs have also become mature. And therefore, if a person is having any reproductive act, then its certain consequences can be, that is possible consequences of reproductive act. If reproductive act takes place, then two consequences are there. Out of that, first consequence is that of childbearing. So, because in the reproduction, what will happen? There will be union of male gamete and female gamete. After that, zygote formation will take place. That zygote will ultimately develop into embryo that will form baby, and that baby will ultimately be delivered. So, final consequence we can say that it is increase in the population of the country. That is the first consequence of reproductive act. Second consequence of reproductive act is that if we are not careful, then we can get sexually transmitted diseases. Sexually transmitted diseases are those diseases which are caused due to unsafe reproductive act. After that, conception versus contraception. These are the two terms. Conception is the establishment of zygote in the uterus. Conception is the establishment of zygote into uterus, which can ultimately form what is called as embryo that will form baby. So the conception is the process of establishment of zygote in the uterus so that there is increase in the possibility of having a baby. This is called as conception. And contraception is just opposite to conception. Contraception is the process of preventing the fusion of male gamete and female gamete. Contraception is the process of Contraception is the process of preventing fertilization. Its basic function is not to allow union of male gamete and female gamete. That is called as contraception. Now we are talking ways of contraception. What are the different ways by which male gamete can be kept away from female gamete? First one is natural method. In the natural method, if we know the exact timing of occurrence of menstrual cycle, then we can have sexual act, but it will not allow the meeting of what is called male gamete as well as female gamete. That is, sperm and ova will not be allowed to meet with one another simply because of knowledge of the menstrual cycle, from which date it starts and from at which day it ends. Accordingly, we can avoid sexual act if we know at what particular date ova may be released, that is ovulation may take place. So sexual act will not be done at the time of ovulation. So that is called as natural method. Second one is mechanical method. In the mechanical method, certain barriers are used. These barriers may be in the form of condoms, or they can be in the form of certain coverings to be used by the women in their vagina, so that it should prevent the union of or contact of, it prevents the contact of sperm and ova or sperm के contact को it prevents the contact of sperm and ova. That is, for example, condoms are there. Condoms are examples of barrier methods, right? Then there is a third way, that is called as chemical method. In the chemical methods, certain pills are to be taken. These are oral pills. These oral pills are actually hormone supplement that does not allow ovulation, and thereby it prevents the conception. Then last one is called as surgical method. Surgical method is of two types, in which we can prevent the union of male gamete and female gamete, that is sperm and ova. Two types of surgical methods are there. In the first surgical method, we have what is called vasectomy, in which vas deferens is cut and tied so that sperm formation will take place, but it will not be released in the reproductive part of females. And in case of what is called vasectomy and tubectomy. In case of tubectomy, whatever fallopian tube is there, that fallopian tube is cut and tied so that ovulation will take place, but this ova which has been released, it will not travel to that part of fallopian tube where fertilization has to take place. So these are the different methods by which fertilization can be prevented. Thank you, friends.